For the love of money. How is this going to transform your life, your business, and the amount of income that you can make and the impact with you and your family? For the love of money. I tell you what, exciting stuff to talk about today. I had some great calls with some clients that reached out about the free coaching call. And that's, we want to help you grow your business. So really exciting stuff. I'm going to open that back up again this week because it's just been so much fun. Had some great conversations. Some people have signed up for coaching, and now some haven't, and we just gave them good nuggets, and they're able to take that and use it. And we want to help provide as much value on these calls as we can. So you'll get a call with myself, and I'll wrangle and strangle Dallas Hardcastle to get him on there as well. And he was on calls, and it was great, and we're able to help you win. So if you want to do that between now and where this is going to be dropped on Thursday, when it's dropped on Thursday, we'll have until the next Monday by 5 p.m. Eastern to jump on a coaching call for the first 3 people. So awesome, exciting news, free consultation. You just have to let us know by 5 p.m. on Monday after this drops, and we'll schedule up that call. So you can email angel@geniusloanofficer.com to schedule that up. All right. So for the love of money, this is a huge one. I was actually talking to a client here a few days ago where he was listening to the podcast and went ahead and said, hey, I'll get on a free consultation call. And, it was a lot of the same things we hear all the time. He's working all these hours. He's working 60, 70 plus hours a week, really not growing his business. He's kind of stuck in this rut. He doesn't know if he can, really where he can generate business. He's getting a lot of leads from the company, and he's getting paid less money than what he would with self-gen. And so there's all these things that are going on in play that is not allowing him to make the income he wants, to live the life. And then he's getting to the point where maybe you out there have gotten to, and I certainly got to at one point, is going, do I really want to continue doing this? Which is such a scary thing, because if you're like me, it's like, well, when I had that thought a few years ago, I was like, what else am I going to do to make this kind of income? I wasn't coaching at the time. This is a few years back when I was not coaching, and I was making really great money in the loan game, but still some things were off. I was not able to take those vacations. I was not able to turn my phone off. I was not able to leave the office when I wanted to. And the business was running me. And we oftentimes hear that, right? And you may be in that right now. And there is help. There is a way out of that. And so we'll go into a lot of this. Now, you can continue to work through this, and we can go over this in a coaching call, a consultation call. If you're one of our members, we consistently drill this in your head, and all of a sudden people are like, aha, that's how I do things. And oh my goodness, now I can run my business in this different way. And now I can take this vacation. Now I got the appointments I need to. Now I'm building a team I want to. Now I'm have this vision casting to where I feel limitless. And that's what we want. So we want you to operate in your zone of genius and feel just limitless on what you can do. I will ask you this question. I think I've asked it on here before, and I've asked it to our members, is if the market went down 25%, there's 25 less sales, 25 less deals to go around in the marketplace, how many loans would you do? And if your first inkling and your second inkling and your third inkling, and you're trying to calculate that, is I'm doing 5 loans a month. Oh my gosh, I'd only do maybe 4 loans a month. And you're starting to take away from what how many deals you're doing now, know that you got work to do, right? Internally in that brain, in that big noggin, maybe you got a little noggin, You don't have a big noggin like me, but in that big noggin, we got to push it in that noggin going, hey, listen, like this is in a belief system that we've got to unroot, is that we have the belief system that the market is controlling us. The market is what's dictating how many deals we can do. It's going to be whether the market's up or down and how many deals we're going to be able to get done that year. And, you know, like whatever it takes not to listen to that, even into like we often know that news, for example, is such just a depression TV, as I call it, depression TV. If you're watching news a lot, I don't care what side you're on, if you're watching CNN, you're watching Fox, whatever side you're on, they're all sensationalism, right? They're all just trying to, you know, weigh on fear tactics, scare tactics, all these things that are weighing on you, right? And then all of a sudden, you don't even know why you're depressed or why you're upset or, you know, or why the sky's falling, but it's been all that constant messaging you're listening to. This can also happen in the mortgage industry, where if you're listening to, oh my gosh, if the projections are down, and you're just like, oh, let me look at the next thing, and oh gosh, and then you're calling a real estate agent, for example, and they're like, and you call another real estate agent, and like, oh, the market's down, or it's tough, and you are listening to that, you are letting that take root. It's going to hurt your ability to do loans. It's going to hurt your ability how many loans you do. You got to block that noise out. You got to like ignore that. Like, I don't want you to ignore real estate agents when it comes to, you know, how they want to be communicated with, how they want their clients taken care of, what their, you know, how many deals they want to do, what their personal life is you know, is going on, and all those things. But I want you to ignore the utter fire out of any real estate agent, anybody that is taken away from your ability to be able to do as many loans as you need to. And that ability can start getting eroded when you're listening to that noise, when it's down, when it's right now and you're calling someone, it's just November, December. Oh, well, right now the market's down because it's November, December, or whatever. You know, just ignore that. You may have to make a few more calls. You may have to have better calls. You may have to ask a little better. You may have to, you know, sell a little bit better. You may have to market better. However, you can still in any market grow. And so I want you to first come to grips with that and come to a realization that, hey, listen, I can do whatever I want to do. And my goals are not dictated according to what the market is doing. If the market says it's down 10% next year and I did 100 loans, like, by gosh, next year I'm going to do 120. Well, the market's down. It does not matter. And that's what we got to do. And how we do that is a systematic approach of going, okay, how do we do the activities that are going to bring in the money? And so for the love of money is to do those things, to do the activities, not do the busy work. We can all be in the busy work. We've all talked to real estate agents. That's, man, I've been so busy. And then you actually see their numbers like, you've sold 3 homes all year. I don't understand, right? You know, and, you know, there's loan officers we talk to, same things like, man, I've been so busy. And you're like, you're doing a loan a month. And I'm not putting you down if you're doing a loan a month, but it's to illustrate the fact that, like, you're somebody saying they're busy, and it's like, it doesn't, their business doesn't dictate that they would be busy. However, busy is the enemy of productive. We know that. I would always say to you, you know, I would always advocate that you stricken the word busy from your vocabulary. Never say you're busy. Never say you're busy. I never allow myself to say I'm busy. Like, even if I go to say it, I catch myself and like, no. And that's just something, even if somebody else says, I know you're busy. No, I've been very productive. Right? I am going to change that. And it's like, well, that's not a big deal. It is a big deal. These little words mean a lot because it goes into our mindset of like, are we going to allow ourselves to do the quote unquote busy work, which is not productive work? We can all be running around and we get to the end of the day and we're like, what did we do? What did we accomplish? What do we do to drive more deals in the door? We've all been there. I've been there, and sometimes I'm there now. I go, man, you know what? Let the day get away from me. We can all do that. We're subject to that, but it's really important that we start changing now how we're going to talk about the production we're doing, and how whether we're saying busy or productive work, and I'm doing only the things that enlighten me and light me up and help my clients win and help me win and help our team win and help us drive deals home. And so if we start from that premise, we will start winning more. And again, I not trying to belabor that point, but I want to really make sure it seats within this money bus that you're going to be on, right? Like, get that seat in on the money bus that says, hey, I can win no matter what. I am going to do productive work, and I'm not going to do things that don't light me up, that don't bring in business. And if I have to do it for right now, it is not going to be for long, because I'm going to do the necessary work on myself, on my business, to really make sure that I set myself up for success. And if you have a team, it's really critical that you do these things so you can provide for them in the best way. If you're single loan officer, it's critical that you do these things so you can have a life and you can help your family and you can grow to the point where you can hire. And what I'll say is always, and I talk about this all the time, don't wait too long to do that. We always, everybody's like, oh, well, once I get to here, and then it never happens. So make yourself the declaration today that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to operate. And I am going to do these 4 things, more of these 4 things. I'm going to hire for the rest. I'm going to lead my team, and it's going to lead me to the promised land. So for the love of money, again, we talk about this as like people get into this, they really, like their business just doesn't go well, or their life is not going well because they, just don't really look at what's truly driving their business home. So as originators, our job is to originate, right? It's to originate. It's to bring in loans. That is our job. It's not our job to do anything else. And we think sometimes, right, like here it is, we don't feel value, or if we're not talking to the client the whole way and we're not doing all this other stuff, we're not gathering paperwork. It's like, no, your job is to originate loans. You can absolutely make great impact with people. You can have great conversations, and you can only have a few conversations rather than a lot of conversations in the process. And people feel valued and they're doing well. So what we want to do here, and I have a sheet also we can go over, and on our call we can go over this, and because we have a actual For the Love of Money sheets, and we could fill this out together and talk about this. But you want to list the 4 top money makers in your business. Now, at service level, and it depends where your business is at, what these 4 things are going to be. If you are a single, no team loan officer, which is cool, which is great, which is where you're at right now. This is not disparaging, nothing. This is like, okay, we are judgment. We're judging or anything like that. It's just where you're at now. You, for example, your 4 could be the calls to the real estate agents. Then it could be, you have a Zoom appointment with the real estate agent, or a coffee appointment with the real estate agent. It could be the marketing that you're putting out. It could be the event that you're putting on. It could be the BNI that you have. It could be these little networking events. What is those for? These can change throughout time. For example, if you're a one-person band, then your call outs, like for example, the original calls to a new real estate agent could be you, right? It could be you at first. Now, once you grow a team, you may not make those original calls. You may have a virtual assistant making those calls and setting up appointments for you. You may have one of the other assistants calling and setting that for you, et cetera. You may not be making those original calls. You may be only doing the meeting. So then after time, that 4 could change. It's like, okay, well, and then it's like, okay, well, now I'm just doing my 4 money makers instead of the first initial call out. That's getting crossed off. And maybe it is calls to just your partnerships you're already in a relationship with, and that's a money maker because you're still asking for referrals and you're helping them out and you're doing all the necessary things to keep that relationship going. But the point is, we may be able to cross one of those out because now you're moving it off the list and it's not one of your 4 biggest money making activities, which is cool, which is freaking fabulous. Because if we were able to, just got to think about this, if you were able to just do the absolutely highest level 4 activities in your business, meaning one of them is definitely be you're sitting down with the agent. That's a high money making activity, right? Because that individually may not be, because we may not be a fit for each other. But if we know that if you sit down with, say, 10 real estate agents, then and you're going to get deals out of it. And when you take that, say it was an hour, a half an hour a piece for 10. So you got 5 hours there, and you're able to get, let's say 2 agents send you, now we're sending you, let's say 7 deals a year each. That's 14 deals. Maybe making $3,000 a month. That's $42,000 a year divided by, the total amount of time that you went and sat down. Maybe it's through the follow up as well. So maybe that's I don't know, 15 hours altogether. So now we go, okay, well, that's a hugely, it's a great, I don't know where I'm going with hugely, but it's a great, it's definitely a completely amazing ROI, right? Because now you've got $42,000 divided by 15 hours, right? A lot of money. It's almost $3,000 an hour. It's actually, what is that? 2,800, I think it is. So that's a lot of money. $2,800 per hour is what you had in that activity. Now your call out, if you just doing your calls, and you're trying to set those appointments, end up being $500 an hour, which is amazing. And people stop there because they're like, and we can group them all together and say, hey, what's these 4? How much are you making in these 4? Which we want to do, like how many hours a week are you in these 4 when you have them? And then it's like, okay, then now you're going to take that, those hours. So say it's 10 hours a week in those 4 activities times 50 weeks, 2 weeks off a year is 500 hours. And let's just say you make $100,000 a year. You're like, okay, well, that's like a couple $100 an hour. However, then we start breaking it down more and we go, okay, well, where's that one activity we just spoke about, maybe $2,800 an hour. And then you look at your call outs, your reach outs, maybe $75 an hour, which is $100 an hour, which is still good money. A lot of people would love to have that money per hour. However, is there someone that could help you with that? And then get you more into $2,800. A lot of times we stop at admin stuff, right? We stop at admin where it's like, you hear, and you probably heard already, like, hey, get admin to do stuff that's $20 an hour jobs. Why would you do $20 an hour jobs? But there's a lot of times like, why would you also do $100 an hour jobs when you can do a $2,800 an hour job? And so, that may be one of them. The event may be one. So you have somebody helping you invite people, you get them there, and you have 15 people in a room. And then, from that, when you're able to like set an appointment there, and then that leads to these deals. Now, okay, I netted, each time I do an event, I net $10,000. I don't know what it is. So say it's $10,000. Now, okay, well, it took me an hour and a half at the event, another half an hour there, hour at the appointment. And now let's say 4 or 5 hours, you're able to make $10,000, and you made $2,000 an hour for the event, right? Bing, bang, boom. That's another huge moneymaker. So we can start breaking these down. And so your four could change over time. And so the common problem that people have is really not knowing these numbers at all. And they just kind of do, and they do the busy work. And then, another thing is like leads. Like all the time we hear like, hey, they're people are, I'm going to run these leads, and then I'm going to be able to pass it to the real estate agent course, right? And the real estate agent is really going to be happy about these 8,000 leads that don't produce. They're not. They may be happy for just a split second until stuff doesn't really turn. But then we got to look at it. It's like, if I'm running, even if I'm trying to turn these leads, like how much time did I put into that? How many deals did I close? Well, man, I closed a couple deals. Okay, good. Let's talk about how many hours did you put into that. Now, let's say that you did that, you put all those hours into it, and it netted you $200 an hour, which is still a great number. Great number. But if you could make $2,800 an hour compared to $200 an hour, what probably sounds better, right? The $2,800 an hour, $2,800 an hour job. We only have so much time that we're going to spend. So if we're spending all the time trying to talk and chase down leads, yeah, it could make us money. Is it making as much money as when we are able to sit down with a referral partner and have a great conversation? We talk to 10 agents, for example, sit down with 10 agents, which is going to be better? So this is where we start breaking this down, and we get emotion out of it. Emotion is tied up so deeply, and we go, we start getting in our feelings, or man, these real estate agents, I don't know about them, or, oh man, it's hard, and I have to follow up. But yet you're following up with leads for freaking like on end, and they're trying to chase down these people and finally getting them to go ahead and apply, and they got a 412 credit score. Okay. That is just, of course I can get off on tangent about the whole begging for business thing. Like so calling leads, like just continue to call leads, calling, they're not begging for business, like, but yet calling a real estate agent is. I really am baffled by that. Like it literally just short circuits my brain. And I know I'm not the most intelligent guy in the world, but I just feel like that just doesn't make sense, right? Because you're calling all in. Well, okay, what's the rebuttal? Well, somebody filled this thing out. So the real estate agent filled out a real estate license. Okay, they're in the business, right? They're in the business. They're just as viable of whether they're going to want and need help, and more so than someone that just filled out a Facebook lead app that's like, well, I was just kind of curious, right? But we called them for 14 weeks trying to follow through for them to tell us to go F ourselves, right? So what are you going to do? And it's all like, what is going to make us the most money and be the most beneficial? And listen, if somebody's not cool and you don't want to work with them, don't work with them. But what is overall, and getting out of your own headspace and getting out of your own emotions and get up in your feels. I'm up in my feels and go, okay, all I got to look at is like, just look at the numbers. You're a mortgage person. You're in the numbers. Take these numbers and go, what is the net result if I see this many people? This is my dollars per hour. What makes sense for me to do more of? And if I was able to do that just a little bit more, what would happen? So let's make sure that we do that. And then, so how many hours a week in the next 12 weeks will you spend in these big four? So make yourself a declaration and say, hey, how many hours? So once you have, hey, this is my top four, like, and again, it may be the call outs, maybe the event, maybe the, whatever. So how many hours per week when I'm going to average the next 12 weeks in the big four, in these four money making activities? So that's something you should do. Go, okay, I'm going to make sure I block, which everybody, you should be blocking 2 hours a day in your first half of your day. By noon, you should be done usually with 2 hours of money making activities. Your calls, your meetings, your Zooms, your coffees, all that stuff, your getting events, call outs done, marketing done, direct messages done. By noon, that should be your goal every day, is having at least 2 hours by that time. So how many hours will you spend per week in the next 12 weeks on this big four? So put that declaration down and then hold yourself accountable to making sure that happens. It's not always easy, but if you just go, I'm going to be laser focused, and don't make some crazy goal where it's like you're just kind of thrown out there and you don't, like, think about your day, think about what you're going to do, think about what you're going to make sure you hold yourself accountable to, and just go do it. So if it's you've been doing half an hour and you're going to do an hour and a half, cool, do it. I would advise, if you're all possible, at least do 2 hours. And just block that time out. What 3 activities will I take off my plate in the next 12 weeks? So those 3 need to be something that you hate, that you just hate doing, that you don't want to do. And they don't coincide with your biggest money making activities. If you hate talking to people to sell loans, well, you may be in a wrong business, right? It's sorry to tell you, but you're here to originate loans, like we talked about. And so if you're, you can't take off a list of things that are your biggest money making activities. Hopefully you enjoy doing that. Hopefully that's what you want to do. You want to talk to people, be cool. You want to just make relationships. That's what you should want to hopefully do. But all the other things, like, what is the 3 activities that you can just take off your plate that you hate doing, that you're like, oh, this is horrible, I don't like doing it. I don't like to gather paperwork, I don't like to do this. And so then make yourself like, then so ask yourself this question: how will I accomplish these being taken off my plate? These 3 being taken off my plate. So how will I accomplish this? How will you accomplish taking those 3 off your list? Does it need to be someone you hire? Maybe. The who, not the how, is a great thing. Like, who are you going to hire? Who do you need in your place? So who are you going to need to put in place to take these 3 off your list, which is going to be probably a lot of that. Maybe you have people in place now, but you're bear hugging your files and you're over there like, oh, I can't let go. And what if something happens bad? And maybe just internally, something's going on, internal dialogue that's not allowing you to release some of these things. Maybe it's an activity that you've been doing. It's busy work, and you're somehow avoiding the phones or whatever. And I know Dallas talked about this a lot. Is oppositional growth syndrome? Is that it can be oppositional growth syndrome can also be where we're kind of sabotaging ourselves as we're trying to do busy work because we don't want to do the calls. We don't want to have the meetings. And so if that's something that's kind of coming up and you recognize that, like, we can have another conversation about that as well. But know that, that is holding you back, and let's start trying to uproot that, because You don't want that oppositional growth syndrome where you're holding yourself back by not making the calls, by not having the activities that's going to produce you the results, and you're kind of doing that busy work. So what is those 3 activities that you can take off your plate, and how are you going to do that? It could be 3 different things with 3 different ways of doing it. It could be one that solves the 3. It could be one person you hire, they wipe out that 3, and you're like, oh man, I got 5, 8 more. Cool. You want to add more that you can take off there? Cool. 3 is the minimum. Take 3 off your list. I guarantee you there's 3 things that you're doing that you don't need to freaking do. Like, trust me, once in a while I'm like, what am I doing that for? Like, we just, and mine, a lot of times, mine just because I'm just kind of going, you're not really thinking about, offloading that, or, so you start responding to something like, whoa, what am I doing? Right. And so it could be one that solves the 3. It could be all different things. It could be one is just a mental strategy that you have to employ, right? Because you're holding yourself back. The second one could be because you have to hire someone, right? The third one could be because you have to eliminate it all together and just go on. And it doesn't even need to be done by anybody. So they could come in different ways, but make sure that you take off 3 things and you concentrate on these big 4. Make sure you know how much money is in each one of these, and then know that there may be things that in the big 4 right now, because you don't have a team, that you really can't put on these happy hours and these events as much as you want. And one of your things is the call outs, and you recognize, hey, I got to shift these at some point. So maybe I need to hire a virtual assistant to set the appointments for me so I can move that off the list. And then I can add another bigger money maker on the list because now I have the time, the resources to do that. So For the Love of Money is going to propel you into new heights if you continue to concentrate on it, to know it, to breathe it, and you will be the marketplace. You will overcome anything, any obstacles, if you continue to dive into this, and you will originate a lot of loans. So I'm excited for you. Hit me up, on any of the channels if you need, and hit up Angel at geniusloanofficer.com for that free consultation, and we will dive into your business and help you out as much as we can. And also, real quick, don't want to forget this. If you want to have a transformative 2 days, come to Vegas with us December 9th and 10th. We are going to have an amazing, you will have a 25% off by mentioning this podcast. And it is 2 days of transformative, small room, Dallas and I, other high-level loan officers being in the group, working on the business, having great dinners, having some deep dive into your business, into your life, and it will completely transform the way you think, the way you do business, and the way you do life. And we are excited. So time is limited. You will want to get to and tell Angel to schedule a call, us to schedule a call ASAP. This is Thursday dropping. You'll want to hit up Angel Thursday or Friday for sure to make sure that there's even the tickets left. So make sure you hit us up, and we will see you in Vegas. Have fun, and hopefully not lose too much money on the games. So set yourself a limit and don't allow yourself to go over. But anyway, hope you're doing well. Hope you continue to just thrive in your everyday life and business, and hit us up. We love to hear from you. Hit us with a review. We'd love to hear from you as well. Remember, limited risk equals limited income.